Welcome to Capital Games. My name is Sam the Investor. This is episode 5, How to Use Creative Finance. Today I'm joined by businessman Carlos. Carlos, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, Sam.
My pleasure, my brother.
My brother, Sam.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about creative finance. We're going to go through some different things. First, I want to give the people a quick breakdown of what is creative finance for those who don't know, and then we'll get a little more detail. Then we'll actually talk about some deals that you've done with creative finance, I've done with creative finance, to see how you can make it work when sometimes traditional financing doesn't work. All right. So quick, what is creative finance? Creative financing refers to non-traditional or unconventional methods of funding for purchase, particularly in real estate, where buyers use strategies beyond traditional bank loans to acquire property, often by leveraging sellers' existing financing or utilizing alternative funding sources, allowing them to invest with minimal upfront cash and relying more on negotiation and deal structuring instead of solely on credit, history, or income. So, there's certain deals. Now, creative finance, you could do it with anything. Typically, it is done with real estate, but you can do it with a boat, a car, a piece of land, a business. You can use it for literally anything. So let's get into it real quick. So, Carlos, tell me, what are your thoughts on creative finance, and when have you used it in the past?
Tell you straight up, I've used creative finance all my life, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You get me? Because I always said one thing. First of all, rich people don't work for money. They have money working for them, right? But rich people, we leverage OPM, other people's money.
Right.
And creative financing is what?
Other people's
OPM.
money. Yes.
That's another word for other people's money. First of all, creativity, to me, that word is priceless.
Yeah.
Because we're made in the image of God, the creator, right? God gave us, obviously, his ability to be able to create as well, right? So creativity is thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
You have to think anyway, so might as well think creatively, right? Meaning think outside the box. So all the deals I've done in my life, even if I have the money, why would I use my money when I could use somebody else's money and leverage? You get me? With all due respect to other people that want to use their hard work money, you get me? But I don't believe in working hard. I believe in working smart.
Yeah.
So if you have money, for example, and you're my friend, right? And I understand, and you also understand that you're an investor. You understand that your money is basically, you got to put it to work, because inflation eats the money, right or wrong? Right? You have to park your money. It could be in real estate or in a business, in a vehicle that produces more money, right? I could get creative and I could say, okay, Sam, there's this opportunity, right? I'll tell you straight up, I don't have the money, but I know you have the money, right? These are the numbers. Let's run the numbers. Obviously, it has to be win-win for everybody. I don't mind you getting more than what I'm getting.
Right.
So when you first start with creative financing, you cannot be greedy, because you got to work your way up, right?
Absolutely.
Right? You got to literally put the other person in a position, or the other parties, where they're going to get more than what you're getting.
Exactly.
Facts or no?
Big facts.
Right?
Big facts.
It's better to have 1% of something big than 100% of something small.
Yes.
But if I got the deal, if I brought the deal to the table, and that's how the day keeps the 9 to 5 away.
Right.
So if I brought the deal to the table, and you're, it was basically not presentable, like you like the deal, like the numbers make sense, and you might as well, let's do it.
Yeah. So, first of all, speaking of creative finance, shout out to Chris Haskins, Pace Morby. They do a lot of content on creative finance. So if you really want more details, there's a ton of information, ton of videos that they do. But just
my respect, you shouting up other people out.
Yeah. So, that's kind of where I learned how to do some creative finance. So I studied Pace Morby, Chris Haskins for watched their content for like a year or two before I actually did my first creative finance deal. And then you said before, breaking down the numbers, you're going to use creative finance when the numbers don't work with a traditional lender. So typically when you buy a property, let's say you're going to put down 20% for your cash down payment, and then you're going to borrow the 80% from a lender. And then the lender is going to typically give you guidelines. They're like, we're only going to give you this money if this property makes X amount of dollars. So when you're running your numbers and the bottom line is negative, the lender is not going to give you a loan because the numbers don't make sense. They're like, well, why would I give you this loan when the property doesn't make enough money for you to pay back the loan? So the deal would typically be dead, right? But this is where you can get creative. So after learning about creative finance, anytime I'm buying any real estate deal, the first question I ask is the seller willing to hold the note? I start there.
That's true.
Right? I'm going to start with is there a creative finance deal? Because I know there's a better chance of the numbers making sense versus traditional finance, especially in a situation right now where we're at 7% interest on loans. A lot of deals just don't make sense unless you're putting 50% down, 60% down cash. And why would you want to put that much down when you want to use other people's money? So when you sit down with the seller, you're going to ask them first, are you willing to hold the note? Are you willing to seller finance this deal? And it really depends on their situation and what their motivation is. So I'll give you a quick example of the last property I bought with the creative finance deal. It was a 3-family property in Indiana, and the seller wanted $260, actually no, $270 for the property.
You're going out of town too.
Yeah, you gotta
outside the box.
You gotta go where the deals make sense, right? So it's a 3-family unit. They wanted $270 for the property, and the property sat on the market for about 2 months before I stepped in, and I was like, this could be a good opportunity. And I ran the numbers, and the numbers actually did work, but like the cash flow, right? When you're buying a property, you got to figure out what you want before you even do anything. How much cash flow do you want? How much do you want to make from buying the property? So when I did it in a traditional finance way, I wasn't happy with the numbers. So I was not going to buy that property at $270. My second thought was, all right, what if I paid $220, right? Or $210, much lower than what the seller wants? Of course, now the numbers make a little bit more sense because I'm borrowing less from the bank. And that was a possibility, but the seller rejected that offer. I think I put it in for $220, and they said no, they didn't want to do a deal.
I don't want to cut you off, but I'm gonna tell you one thing, and I'm gonna tell the world something.
Yes, sir.
Either you go big,
you go home,
or you go home.
Right.
The bigger the deal, the easier for the seller to hold the note.
Yes.
You're gonna notice because they got more money. They're playing with bigger money.
So we're gonna get to that. So, so this is my first time. So this is a kind of a test case for me. But like you said, my first test case could have been a $250 million property, right? You could do the same thing no matter the price range.
That's why you got to build your confidence,
right? Exactly.
Your character. That way, when you walk into a room, you walk into that room like you own the room.
Right.
Even if you don't know anything, straight up. Like I've been that type of person.
Yeah.
I've been in rooms, bro, where I'm ignorant.
Yeah.
Right. But my confidence and just the way I carry myself and how I win friends.
Right.
I open doors, bro.
That's how you got to do it, man.
I'm serious.
That's how you got to do it.
That's creative.
Yeah, it's creative.
That's creative.
So going back to the numbers, he said no. And then what I wanted I knew he was going to say no, by the way, right? Because 250 or 270 to 220.
But I'm going to tell you one thing. You see, I approach life from a different perspective. If you think they're going to say no, what do you think the answer is going to be? No. Right. That's like in the personal level, a woman.
But listen.
And I don't want to go off track.
No. I wanted him to say no. That was to kind of test the waters. So I always wanted a creative finance deal because even if I paid $220 for the property, right? What ended up happening was we negotiated that I would buy it for $250, but he would hold $65,000 of the note, which is basically the 20% down payment that I needed from the bank. The bank's like, all right, I'll give you the loan for the property, but you got to give us $60K for the down payment. So now I'm like, well, do I want to put $60K in this property and then make a couple $100? No, I really don't, right? So I structured the deal where he gets $250, but he has to wait 5 years for that down payment. But he also has to give me 0% interest. The 0% interest now makes it advantageous for me because now I don't have to pay that money back for 5 years. It's going to give me time for the property to appreciate in value, refinance, and then use that to pay him back. Also, I could use the cash flow, which is about $1,000 a month, to stack that up over 5 years and then use that to repay him as well. So multiple exits. So that's actually what we agreed on. $250. He holds the note for 5 years, $65K, and then since that happened, At the closing table, I didn't bring $1 to the closing table. I actually got a check for $6,000, right? And then the $6,000, and by the way, the reason why the property sat for that long on the market was there was one unit that needed renovations, right? And somebody doesn't want to pay $270 for a property and then put another $10,000 to $15,000 in renovations. That's why it said it was just priced too high. Anytime a property is sitting on the market for a long time, price is too high. The market is telling you what the property is worth, and it's not worth the price that you set it at. So,
and that was a 3-family.
That was a 3-family. So I was like, you know what? I'll buy it and I guess what? The $6,000 that they gave me, I just used that to renovate the unit. That's all it cost me. So now I got the property with no money out of my pocket, a renovated unit.
But you didn't use OPM for the $6,000 either? Because I would have used OPM. I would have kept using OPM.
I did. I used the I did use other people's money in a sense because I used the seller's money that he gave me back at the closing table to do the repairs.
You could have
borrowed the $6,000, but it's fine.
But I'm not saying, I'm talking about like you could have got a little construction loan too.
Yeah, I mean, I could have, but all I needed was that to do the renovation. So long story short, after I bought it, the cash flow is about $1,000 a month out of pocket. So it's actually an infinite return where I bought a property collecting rent without actually ever putting my own money into the deal, right? So those are the type of deals now that I'm always looking for, where I can get a seller to hold a note. And like you said, you can do this for a business as well.
Businesses, building,
it's going to work better for
everything.
a business because a property, there's more people willing to buy properties than there are willing to buy businesses.
Yeah.
Right?
Because for business, you need to have business acumen skills.
Exactly.
You need to know how to build teams. You got to know who to fire, who to keep.
Yes.
How to bring the value up on the business.
Right.
Where basically there's blind spot errors, things that you got to fix, patches. Make sense?
Yes, makes a lot of sense.
How can you basically take the business from where it's at to the next level? There's a lot of little different factors. But you see, I could walk into any business. Because at the end of the day, business is either you're selling a product or a service, right? And you got to have systems and process in place. And a lot of businesses don't have the systems and process in place with the correct people. Right. So when you align the systems and process in place with people and you have a good product, good service, and you have the good location, money's going to come in, cash flow. If it makes sense.
Yeah. So can you tell me about a creative finance deal that you've done either with a property or with a business that, kind of how you structured it, why you went to go that route and things like that?
Meaning when it comes to properties, I've done a lot of deals like that with my business partner, Alex, you got me, and other people, where the same thing where we had other people hold the note as well. As a matter of fact, even this building.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Somebody held the note.
Yeah. When we first got it. Yeah. You got
and how long did they hold the note for?
Like 6 years.
Okay. And was it an interest on the note or was it interest free?
It was interest.
Interest, okay.
You got me? I'm not gonna interest.
No,
but remember, interest, you gotta look at interest.
You can
write it off. You got me? Like a lot of people, they get scared when it comes to interest. Bro, sis,
what's the
let
value
people
of the
make
property?
money. I'm gonna put it like that. One of the best people you want to partner up with is landlords. Yeah. Straight up. Or if you want to buy a property, figure out a way on how you could literally influence the landlord or build a relationship with that person, that if you cannot buy it yourself, how can you help them, sell it.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So don't look at it like if you cannot do something for yourself, if you really want that, and if they see you have good intentions and you're finding ways on how they could actually get rid of that headache. Because what's a headache to them, it could be a treasure to you.
And you nailed it. So that property was a headache for that landlord, which is why he ended up wanting to sell it, right? So I'll give you a little backstory. The reason why they were selling was they're an investor, right? They have other properties, but they want to transition out of owning properties because when you're a landlord, there's property things that happen, and they kind of wanted to get out of that game and transition into an actual business. So they wanted to get out of real estate and get into an actual business. They were also older. So the motivation was, all right, for 5 years, I'm going to get some money now. So they got, I think, like $180K, whatever, upfront, right? And then the other $60K, they're like, I'm cool with waiting 5 years for that because guess what? That's going towards my retirement. So for them,
it's like they have parked money.
Right, they got money parked. So they know in 5 years, they're going to receive that money that they can use for their retirement. So that's why creative finance is good. And then also the tax benefit. They're only paying 180 on whatever capital gains that they have right now, and then in 5 years they'll receive the other 60K. So it kind of spreads out the tax burden from the sale.
What I like about business, the active income.
Yeah.
You get me? It's different from real estate. Real estate, you could say, is passive income but long term.
Right.
If it makes sense.
Yes.
But I could literally take a business from rags to riches. That's why I could start things from zero, from an idea, and turn them into a reality. That's creative as well.
Yes.
That's creative finance. Because at the end of the day, remember, we talk a lot about the 4 levels of value creation. In implementation, time is money. Unification, with money, you could buy people's time, right? In communication, that's like with money, you can make money, right?
Right.
But in imagination, with an idea, you could print money. That's creative finance. Because an idea is just a dream without execution.
Exactly.
So everything starts with a question. How can you make that question a light bulb, right? We can close the distance between an idea and money. Why? Because creative finance, right? So to put in perspective, you could literally write a business plan. That's creative, right? Right or wrong?
Yeah, it's creative.
Right? You write up the business plan, meaning the idea, and as of the date, keeps the 9 to 5 away. You turn that business idea into an asset, right? Now you present it to other people that could basically buy percentages of the 100%.
Right.
You could literally value your percentages, whatever dollar amount you want. Exactly. That's why I don't do stocks. Because I could literally create an asset today. Like, for example, we could create a business a day, a LLC, right? I call it loans and lines of credit instead of limited liability company, right? And that company, now we create a business plan, right? We could now create a website, digital asset, if it makes sense, and now we could present that to a few different people, right? And you could value that idea, if it makes sense, if the numbers make sense,
at
whatever dollar amount you want to do.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. That's what IPOs are, right?
So that's creative financing as well.
Yeah.
Meaning creative financing, to me, is using your mind to get whatever deal. Obviously, a deal is something that is obviously going to put something into your pocket, or at least break even.
Right.
Because to me, a deal is also breaking even.
Yes.
If you could buy something with no money and you broke even, somebody else is paying for it, and you own that asset,
it's a good deal because you got the asset.
You got the asset.
You got the asset,
right? And what's a headache for somebody else, once again, might not be a headache for me. And I've noticed a lot of people that do not know how to deal with people, or that they don't know how to get the right tenants. They don't know how to, be selective with the people they're going to pick, or they don't have systems and process. Because the thing is, let's use real estate. When you get to a certain level in real estate, you want to have property management company.
Of course. You don't want to be doing it yourself. Of course.
Makes sense?
Of course.
Or you partner up with somebody that that's their dream, to have a property management company, and you invest into them so they can take care of now all your properties.
Yes.
I don't know. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
That's all creativity.
Yes.
Right? Or wrong?
No, that's correct. Yeah.
In a building, you partner up with somebody so they could be the super of the building.
Yes.
You got me? Whatever is messed up, and you could give them an apartment.
For free, right?
Right? There's no such thing as nothing free.
Not for free, because they're working for the apartment.
They're still working.
They're working for the apartment, yes. Yeah.
That's all creativity. Everything, you got to be creative, guys. When you want something in life, never say, I can't afford it. Say, how can I afford it? The minute you say, how can I afford it? Possibilities, ideas, the universe is just going to show people with the money.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah. So piggybacking off your point as far as using creative finance, and I think creative finance is probably most effective with businesses, because so we talk about the dream business, right? Somebody's typically started a business. Most businesses fail, right? The new businesses fail.
95% of businesses.
Right? They fail. So if there's an opportunity to buy or acquire a business that's already existing, that person's already done more than half the work. Now, what happens is, and this is going to be...
You're going to buy pennies on the dollars.
Not only pennies on the dollar, a lot of times there's actually profitable businesses that get shut down because the owner was the business and he retires.
Or he passed away. He basically want to give it to their kids.
Or the kids don't want it, right? So there's a lot of profitable businesses that you could actually go to the owner and say, hey, I'll buy your business. And then think about it. If this person is trying to retire, they don't necessarily need a lump sum of cash right now. So you can negotiate with them. Hey, I'll give you 10% now, and then I'll pay you the other 90% using the returns of the business, the profit from the business, to pay back the seller over time.
And it's sometimes not even that the kids don't want to they don't want the business. Sometimes that they don't know how to run
the business.
You get me? Because you could want the business, but if you don't know how to run it, you get me?
Yeah.
You're still shocked. So sometimes, for example, as a businessman, I wouldn't give my daughters a horse that they cannot basically ride the horse.
Yeah.
In another word, I wouldn't give them a business that I know they cannot handle.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes.
I don't care how much I love them. And so if I know you could handle the business because you have the business acumen skills, you already been through, ups and downs, failed forward in business.
Right.
Because I'd rather literally partner up with somebody that has failed forward, you got me?
Yeah.
And has experience.
Yeah.
Than somebody that is a newbie.
So part of the reason, and this is you touched on a greater point, like what's the experience? So sometimes it's good to partner with people just for their experience, right? Bring them into the business.
Priceless experience is priceless.
So that deal in Indiana, the seller, the first question that they asked me before they actually wanted to do or even thought about doing the seller finance deal was, do I already own property? Because that was a prerequisite for them, because they're like, well, why would I finance this deal to somebody who doesn't own property, doesn't know how to manage the property? Because now if anything goes wrong, how do they even know how to manage it? Because again, they have to wait for their money. So they're actually dependent upon me to be successful with the property for them to get their return. So same thing with the business. If you could bring somebody who has the experience, the likelihood of the business surviving and doing well goes up exponentially.
Recently, like probably less than a week ago, I gave Manny, Vanessa, Jayandi, Emily an experience when it comes to business and real estate. I'm talking about the landlord that owns that property that they also own the business.
Okay.
But they basically, Gio.
Okay, yes.
Got creative with his brother.
Okay.
You get me? And they gave them the business.
Nice.
The lady. I don't know if it makes sense.
So that was a creative finance.
That's a creative finance. But to make a long story short, now we got equity from the business. I don't know if it makes sense. So I get a lot of equity from businesses without putting $1.
Right.
Just because of my business acumen skills, my experience, just what I bring to the table.
Right.
Although awareness.
Right.
Like I'm like, okay, we're gonna do ta 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 ta. I'm gonna tell the world something. When it comes to business, straight up, if you need money to make something happen, you're not a businessman. That's deep. That's deep. And that applies to real estate as well.
Yes.
That applies to anything in life, even in the personal level. If you need money to get that woman, there's a problem with you.
Yeah.
You got me? There's a problem. I'm telling you. I'm telling the world this. Guys, that's why I emphasize so much developing yourself as a person and overall, personal, business, overall, just working on your mindset. Because when you work on your mindset is your operating system. It's how you perceive, look at the world, how you think, how you move, how you see everything. You get me? You're going to be able to see life from an ego perspective, not from a chicken perspective.
Right.
You got me?
Yeah.
So you're going to know who to leverage for what and who not to leverage for what. Because not all leverage is good leverage.
Yes.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes.
I don't know if that makes sense, Mr. Capital Games.
Yes.
We're talking about capital.
Capital, right.
Games,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Everything is a game.
Yeah.
Games have rules.
Yes, they do.
But also, same way the games have rules, you got to know where to break the rules.
Right.
See, my thing overall in life is thinking outside the box, Sam. Just like basketball. See how everybody wants to rather go for the layup because it's easier? I don't want to do layups. I don't even want to do threes. I want to do half court or deeper because people will not expect me doing that.
Right.
So it's the same thing in real estate, same thing in business.
Yeah.
Why would I settle, to basically do anything in a small scale
right. when you could do it
when you could do it in a bigger scale? And I'm going to put in another perspective when it comes to creative finance. Creative finance, let's use basketball. Imagine if basketball would have been a sport that depending the area where you shoot, the points calculate
more
different.
Yeah.
Half court would have been a different bracket.
5 points.
Right?
Yeah, 5-point shot. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So the same thing. When you develop yourself overall, your business acumen skills, business development, personal development, overall, you just become a person. How to influence and influence people.
Mm-hmm.
You could influence the landlord.
Yes.
You got me? Because now you could tell her, hey, instead of you selling Because they're selling for a reason.
Yes.
And you got to know the reason they're
find
selling.
the reason, yes.
Right? Once
Find
you already
their
know,
pain point.
without them telling you,
Yeah.
if you could literally tell them why they're selling it, that's even deeper, brother. Because now you're bringing awareness. You get me? That's like a man goes to the doctor and you don't tell the doctor your problem, and the doctor tells you got ta. You know?
Yes.
That's a different type of expertise.
Yes.
That's like in business, for my business consulting, don't tell me your problems. I'll tell you your problems. That's deep.
That's expertise.
You got me?
Yes.
That's a different level. Like I'll be able to I could walk around the city. I don't even have to walk into a business and I could tell their problem, bro.
Of course, yeah.
From a mile away, bro.
Yeah.
First of all, that location. Second of all, probably that presentation of your
staff,
business.
right?
You got me?
That person.
It's a lot of little different factors that make a difference.
Yes.
You got me? Sometimes people, even in a business, they keep an employee just because they have a good personal relationship with them. But what they don't know is that employee is the cancer, the rotten apple of that business. They treat you good. They be in their best behavior with you.
To your face.
With the customer, they get that bad vibe, attitude. So they're the cancer. They're the ones carrying away.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
But they're loyal. It don't matter.
Wow.
Not all loyalty you don't want. Some people are loyal to you. You get me? Or it could be loyal to your business.
Right.
But bro, they're scaring away all the blessings.
Yes.
Their energy.
Yeah, I've had that before when I worked at the bank. So you're not there all the time, right? So like on the weekends, whatever, customers will come in. But guess what? The customers, they'll come back and tell me, hey, I dealt with so and so.
That's why the number step.
They know the standard that I have when I'm there. So they're like, they weren't doing it to that standard. And they come back to me and I'm like, oh, okay. So
positive mental attitude.
Right.
Positive mental attitude.
Yes.
And then you also got to check sound health.
Yes.
You see the 12 steps of riches?
Yes.
Money comes last in the list. So you got to know what motivates that employee.
Yes.
That's deep.
That's very deep.
Because if the money's only their motivation,
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
It's not.
Are they motivated by purpose, by impact? What other thing fulfills them? Right? So it's the same thing when buying a property, when being creative.
Right. What's the motivation for the
What's
seller?
the motivation? Because there will be sellers that I've had in my past experience with people that I've helped, buy the first home. Because that's the thing I've done also in my life. When I'm gonna put it in perspective. As a person that understands that you will never be free till you become a business owner, the minute a person decides to basically transition from that employee mindset to the business investor mindset, automatically I helped them transition to business, automatically I was already helping them also become an investor.
Yes.
Right? So the first investment that I wanted them to do was buy the first property for personal fulfillment myself, but also so they could have that fulfillment.
Yes.
So they could have, live rent free. That fulfills me, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, if I could take a brother, if I know, for example, one of my brother's sisters is paying $2-3 grand a month, right?
Yeah.
And I know they could buy a home, right? And literally be rent free. Why not help them?
It's a blessing.
Even if I gotta let them borrow the money, which I know is OPM too.
Right.
On my end, they don't know that. But I'll teach them the game as we move forward.
Right.
Because you cannot tell them all your game, all your skills the first day. We cannot tell people all the capital gains in one dot. Because even if we tell them all the games, they're still not gonna be able to apply.
Right. They're not gonna be able to apply. Yep.
Money has 3 stages. They gotta know how to get it. They gotta know how to keep it. But they also gotta know how to what? Grow it.
Yeah.
Forget about keeping it and growing it. Let's focus just on getting the money. As an employee, time is money. That's a way of getting money. But if you're exchanging your time for money, you can't
make money.
Huh?
You can't make money.
Bro, when you need more money, you got to do extra hours.
Time, yeah.
You got to get another job, right?
Yeah.
But as a business owner, with money, you go buy people's time. It's better to leverage 1% of 100 people's effort than 100% of your own effort, right? But as an investor, it's better to leverage. I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's businesses than 100% of one business. Right. That's creative.
Yes,
that's creative finance. Because if I could bring my experience to another man, if I could walk into any business right now, anywhere, bro, and we should try it out, record it. Because what's not recorded is not remembered. Right. And I'll be able to bring value to the owner. Bro, most business owner, the business owns them. They don't even own the business. They work inside the business.
Instead of
If
working
I could
on
bring
the
that
business.
awareness of working on the business, or how can we franchise that business? And instead of me selling a product or service inside the business, I could sell the franchise.
Yes.
Like McDonald's.
Yeah.
Why would I sell burgers?
Right. You sell the business.
I sell the concept.
Yeah.
The systems and process. Yeah. Right or wrong?
Right.
I sell the opportunity. That's why opportunities are our products and our services.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
Right or wrong?
Absolutely.
That's creative finance.
All right. So on that note,
that's how we could print money.
Right.
The last one.
Yes.
With the imagination.
Exactly.
An idea is just a dream without execution. We could close the distance between an idea and money. That's why the best investment I ever done has been on myself.
Yep,
the second best investment I ever done
is on other people.
It's been on other people. The third best investment that we're doing is on attention.
Yes.
Attention is a currency. These are digital assets.
Yes, absolutely.
Every time we create content, because you don't know what video could go viral in the future.
Right.
And that video
could make an impact on people.
That makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense. So before we go, about to wrap it up, is there anything that you want to tell the audience?
Guys, read the book Raising Capital. Have you read it?
I'm reading.
Es mentira.
Yes, es mentira.
What you have learned from that book? Let me put them on a blast.
I don't have enough to have formulated.
That's creative finance.
A thought, but I literally just started it, but I'm still finishing Thinking and Grow Rich. So I'm going to finish that one up and then get into the...
Let me ask you a question. What are you looking to get out of reading the book Think and Grow Rich? Before you answer me the question, I'm intentional with everything I do. I don't read just to read. And when I read, it's better to read one book 100 times than read, 100 books one time.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot of people that read a lot of books. They have read hundreds of books. But today we did an episode, Why Information,
Right.
What was the episode name? Why information without implementation means nothing.
Yes.
Why information without implementation means nothing.
Right.
What information are you trying to get from the book?
Just understanding.
Huh?
Understanding.
Just understanding?
That's it.
Okay. In this stage of your life right now, what is your biggest problem? Straight up. If my bad that I'm here asking you, you got me. Because creative finance,
I really have to think about it as far as what my biggest problem is right now. I mean, I've been blessed, so a lot of the problems that I've had in the past, I've been able to overcome. But
what is the biggest problem that you want to basically help people overcome? You got me?
Help people overcome? I guess just following their path and their dreams and just doing it, whatever it is in life that's going to fulfill them and give them purpose. For me, fulfilling my purpose is helping people and making sure that the people around me are taken care of good. So that's what I focus on right now.
A man who lacks purpose distracts himself with pleasure.
Yeah,
we're valuetaining people. We're bringing value while being entertaining. Also,
absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, who's gonna listen to somebody that is boring? Hello, let's talk about creative finance.
Right.
You gotta be a personality.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right? But once again, the question, you still remember the question or you don't want to answer?
I didn't answer the question.
I
did answer.
Okay. But when it comes to the Raising Capital, the book,
you
said...
like I said, I didn't get all the way into it, so I don't have a formulated
opinion. But you know why I asked you that question?
Go ahead.
Because one of the number one skill sets that any man or female should be obtaining right now is the ability to raise capital.
Yeah.
Because people, they were trained to be workers, to exchange time for money. In another word, work to save, to invest. And raising capital or creative finance is pretty much borrow to invest. You literally could simplify your overall life and go from rags to riches by having that one high income skill set called raising capital or creative financing.
Yeah.
Because creative financing is raising capital.
It is. It's a form of raising capital.
It's a form of basically acquiring an asset,
structuring a deal.
Yeah. Always be closing deal.
Yes.
And that's the day keeps the 9 to 5 away.
Exactly.
Right? Because a lot of people, I feel like they're not doing deals because they say I can't afford it,
Right.
instead of saying how can I afford it.
Yeah.
See, I'm more of a how. I'm more of an outside thinker.
And on that note, how can you afford it is creative finance.
Yes.
Thinking outside the box, using all the tools that you have, structuring deals in a way that the numbers make sense and that you're going to be able to get value, and the person that you're dealing with, the seller, will also gain value. If you structure deals like that, then you can do an infinite amount of deals. So
money is a byproduct of value creation.
Yes.
Capital gains is creative finance.
Yes, yes.
Straight up.
So on that note, Carlos, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure,
Yes.
Sam, when you bring me.
Stay tuned, guys. We'll be giving you more episodes like this where we go over different tools that you can use to build your investment portfolio. And thank you for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, world.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.